right, well, we're waiting for a few more to join. Let me just say welcome to the NHTSA V3 implementation call. Today is October 12th, 2022. And if you haven't already, if you can update your name or make sure it's correct along with any affiliation, we know that some of you need to get credit for being here. So we want to make sure we know who you are. And then just a reminder as well, these meetings are recorded and they are also shared and posted on our website as well as on the NHTSA YouTube channel. If you ever need to go back and reference them, they're available there. And feel free to share if there's topics you think someone else may be interested in hearing or learning about. Feel free to use those recorded videos as reference to share as well. And then also, as you know, if you've been on these calls for a while, we encourage participation. And so feel free to come off mute and join if you have questions or comments along the way, or you can use the chat feature as well. And we do review and save all the chat, even if it's not a question that we get to in the meeting or we miss, we will reach out and contact you directly afterwards if you have questions that were not answered. And we also have an open forum time allotted at the end of our meeting if there's more questions that were not covered or if you have topics you'd like to bring up during that time. And let's go ahead and get started. Laurel, would you like to give us a maintenance update for today?
Sure. So I'm going to share my screen. You have to stop sharing first. Thanks.
Yep.
I don't know how Zoom works. They're usually in Teams. Just displaying the maintenance schedule. So our maintenance window is next week on October 18th to 19th. This is going to be a bit of a busy month for maintenance. We have some updates to our web submission service. We have some updates to our Tableau instance. So it is possible that when you try and use our services on the 18th and 19th of October, you will notice that things are unavailable or a little slower than usual. As always, if you notice a problem during this time, you're welcome to reach out to us via email, or you can just wait and attempt your request again. And it's very possible that whatever service you're trying to access will be available. So that's our maintenance update. I also have the next item on the agenda, which is the NHTSA help desk that we're introducing on our website. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into that. So we have added a fully featured help desk to our site in order to more adeptly assist everyone with their concerns, questions, and support that they need from our team. This will help us ensure that when you send in a request, it will always make it to the right person who will be able to assist you with your request, and you won't have to play email tag in order to reach the right member of our team. So how do you submit a help desk request? That's really easy. So on any page of our website, if you scroll down to the footer, there's a big red help desk ticket button. Or if you recall our support page, you can also visit here to see a link to our help desk. This used to have a list of our team members with some contact info, but we're just going to do everything in help desk now, which will make sure that even if you send a ticket to me and I don't know the answer, or if you send an email to me and I don't know the answer, we can make sure it gets to the right person in this help desk. So that's the other place you can access it. So let's take a look at that help desk. So it looks like this, pretty easy. We have some sort of general requests that are all put together for any sort of questions you might have. So since I'm doing the demo, I'm going to go ahead and do a software vendor issue. Since I work mostly with vendors. So you can just come in here. You can select a type of issue. I just want some help. In the additional information, you can describe your question or problem. Everything is broken. Someone help. If you have anything to attach, such as a screenshot, that would be really helpful to add. You can just add it right there, and then you hit send. If you are a new user to this system, you can create a little account so you can get emails. I'm signed in right now, so it associated this with me. But I believe if you're new, it'll give you a chance to enter your email, even if you don't want to create accounts. So you can make sure that you get feedback on your ticket. And I guess that's our demonstration. Does anyone have any questions about our cool new help desk?
You didn't get a question, but you did get a comment in the chat there, Laurel. So Adam Milford from Zoll says, "Hey, TAC team, nice job for getting away from email and utilizing Jira Service Desk. Big fan, thank you."
Thanks, Adam. Guess we can all give ourselves a pat on the back. We like it too. We have used Jira for a while now internally, and we think it's a good system to make sure that the work gets tracked and completed and not lost in someone's email box. I'm sure you can all imagine how many emails Clay gets. Okay, well, hearing no questions about this, and I never get any questions.
There is one question in the chat. So we've got, can we submit a ticket for NHTSA certification test case data entry? That would be hugely helpful.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that you're asking about compliance testing. I think for the time being, we're going to keep compliance testing in its usual format, which is via email. I think probably we're just going to do that for now because of oh, you mean like submit the data in the ticket? Anyway, compliance system is going to stay the same for now. Maybe one day we'll move to a ticketing system, but for now, since you work with so few people on compliance testing, just Jen and I, we're going to just keep that flow the same. But who knows? It might move to Jira one day too. All right, last call for questions on the tickets. And I never get any questions on maintenance, but if anyone has any questions about maintenance, you're welcome to ask those as well. Okay,
Caitlin.
I'm going to pass it off to the next person. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Laurel. And Caitlin followed up saying she was kidding about submitting certification through a ticket. So thank you for that, Laurel. Next up, we have Jen Correa, who's going to talk about stakeholder meetings and give an overview of that. If you want to chat about that, Jen, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So there's quite a few of you on the call that have either received emails or chatted with me or others in regards to the stakeholder meeting groups that we're putting together. One of them, the vendor meeting, has our first inaugural quarterly meeting on the 25th of October coming up. So if you're a vendor on the call and you have not received an email or don't see that call, let me know and we'll get that invite sent out to you and get you into the distribution group for that stakeholder group. And then another one that we have put together, we've had our first meeting, we actually had it last week, is our billers stakeholder group. And that is a new work group that's getting together to start talking about how NHTSA and the billing environment work together. Most, if not all, of the billing systems ingest the NHTSA XML in one format or another. So we're really trying to improve how the systems work together, find out places where maybe we need to update the standard to make it better. As everyone knows, we never want to put anything into NHTSA that is going to adversely affect compensation for the vendors or the provider agencies as they go along. And so we're having another billers meeting to talk specifically about the version 3.5 transition that's coming up. Normally billers stakeholder group will be quarterly, but at the one last week, there was so much discussion, we did not get a chance to talk about the V3.5 transition, which most of the billing vendors are very interested in and want to have discussion on. So we actually scheduled an extra meeting that is for November to specifically focus on the V3.5 transition, V3.5 elements, questions, concerns, and things like that. If you have a billing component to your system and you are not on or want to double check and make sure you're on, this work group, please send me an email. Let me know. The more the merrier. I would love to hear from everybody. We do have Steve Johnson from PWW who joins us with a lot of information from the legal standpoint and things like that that he shares with the group. And then the last stakeholders group that we're putting together, most of you state data managers saw an email requesting you to disseminate it out to your provider agencies, is the EPCR users work group. And this is a stakeholder group that really focuses on those who are entering the data, right? So the EMS clinicians that are in the field, the EMS provider agencies that are actually using the EPCR products, and hearing back from them, getting feedback on what they think works, what they don't think works. We are fully prepared. As you guys know, Eric and Clay and Julianne and our team always say, you can't hurt our feelings. We want to hear everything. So we fully think that we're going to hear everything from this group that runs the gamut. So if you have anyone that you can think of that would be a good participant, we are trying to keep it just to users. We're not extending the invitation at this time to like state data managers or to vendors. We really want the users to feel comfortable being open and honest and telling us, you know, even if they want to say something like, well, I always pick off the top of the list at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm tired and I don't want to fill out all the fields. We want them to feel comfortable making those comments and saying that and not being worried that there'll be repercussions. So those are the stakeholder groups that we've been putting together, some in progress, and hopefully the EPCR user group will meet for the first time around February of next year. I want to give, right now we have about 27 participants, and then I have a few more on the list. I'm just trying to make sure there's not duplicates, interest or anything like that, but we're at 27 right now. So I would love to have a few more people if we can. Are there any questions or anything like that about the stakeholder groups? Fantastic. I will turn it right back over to you, Lauri.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jen. And the next topic I am going to talk about, I'm going to share a link right here in the chat if you guys want to click on that and open it, is that we thought it would be beneficial. Part of the point of this call is that we really want it to be a place where we can build points of connection between stakeholders and EMS data, between vendors and state data managers and other national stakeholders. And we thought that if we could collect some information, that this is just a short form if you want to fill it out now or open it up and fill it out later. We would love for everyone who participates in this meeting to answer a few questions about yourself. And then the idea is that we'll choose one person each during each of our meetings moving forward to just kind of highlight. And some of you have known each other for a long time, and some of you are new to the game here. And so we want to use this time to kind of introduce each other and get to know each other on the call and build those points of connection that we hope will help you in your job and in your role and in our shared goal of really improving patient care through accurate and timely EMS data. So if you'd be willing to fill that out, I would appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly about that. Wilma had a question for you too, Jen. Where should we send someone that's interested in the EPCR user group? I think
if you could have them email me directly, and if you'd like, I can forward you my contact information and the information about the user group as well.
Perfect. Do you want to just put your email in chat, Jen, so she can grab it, or anyone who's interested?
Yes.
And our next topic is going to be covered by John Beckett today. He's going to talk about ET3 training and specifically custom elements office hours. Are you here with us, John?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you can let me share my screen real quick.
Sure.
Okay. So just a quick few updates. So we are, very much ticking up on the amount of PCR records that we're receiving for this year. The count's up to about 17 million. This is, again, incorporating historical data that goes back to 2019 up until current date. We also are very much ramping up as far as communications go. So we do have newsletters now that are going out on a monthly basis, various webinars and classroom type office hour settings, which will allow for some training as well as just information exchange. The next one that we have coming up, or next series, I should say, is going to focus on ET3 data submission and custom element topics. So if you see where there is one being offered, I would encourage you to go ahead and participate as well as join us. And with an office hours format, it is interactive. We're trying not to make it a presentation so much. And I'll get into a little bit more about the custom elements one that we have that we're going to be offering next week. So I will get into that. We are planning our next NEMSIS 3.5 testing cycle. That's going to be in January. We tried to do a few of them this year and found that the vendors, as well as participants, are not ready for that. Obviously, a lot of the states have not mandated 3.5 as of yet anyway. So we are going to be looking to support that more in 2023. We have successfully distributed 5 ET3 monthly dashboard reports that span between March and August. We did skip September. There were some updates that we made internally to our computer systems, which allow for better data collection processes. So we are in a position now to make sure that all the data is represented on these reports as required. And I think that those upgrades will be recognized in the next October MDR that you'll be receiving. And then a consistent number of the participants are doing really the 3 basic things that we're asking, which is to submit monthly, as well as your claims, as well as properly use the ET3 custom fields. And that's really the focus of the next office hours that we're going to be offering. This is going to be next Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. And as I mentioned before, it is a format where we are inviting participants as well as state data managers. I did request to sort of market this to the vendors here, because I would like for you guys to, come in and just see exactly how some of the data elements are being used and why we actually decided to create some ET3 specific custom elements. So yeah, you are invited. And in terms of the agenda, we are going to cover, a pretty wide range of topics here, but the main topic is going to be the custom elements themselves. So there will be a little bit about the importance of data in the ET3 model. And we also will give an overview of those custom elements that we have, and we'll cover some of the alternative disposition scenarios that are happening out in the field and how you might want to support those with custom elements. As I mentioned, we're going to discuss with the participants their usage of custom elements, as well as some of those alternative dispositions that are occurring. So we expect a pretty lively session for this particular office hours. And again, I just wanted to invite the vendors to that. And it's again something that we think is going to be a very important information exchange. Just one more thing I just wanted to represent here. This is an MDR example. This is for the model wide and how some of the PCR data is rolled up. In this case here, we have a metric that really talks about the alternative disposition offers that are accepted by patients. And, again, it does span going back to the months of July leading up to March in this example. And so these are some of the things that your participants are getting on a monthly basis. We have various metrics that we're providing to them that include some of these graphics in them. And so I just wanted to give an example that the data that you're facilitating to CMS and to the ET3 model is being used to, again, create these types of feedback to the participants. And we do find that we're getting some encouragement as to, some of the information that they're seeing that they weren't seeing before. So I just wanted to give an example of that. And Julianne, I think that's pretty much it as far as what I was looking to discuss here in this meeting.
Sounds good. Thanks for sharing, John.
Okay.
Any questions for John?
What was that 19th office hour time again? Could you have that slide?
Yeah, sure. It's from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That's Eastern time.
Okay.
Yep.
And how did you join? Sorry, I had my head down listening and I didn't get the slide.
That's okay. Yeah, if you want. So Julianne, what would be the best way to facilitate getting folks here the information on how to join? Just want to see if there is maybe a path that we can use NHTSA to get the information out to folks.
Yeah, we can share that. Julianne's actually not on the call. This is Lauri Lunde.
Oh, Lauri, I apologize.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. we kind of look the same, sound the same, I guess. If you want to get that information to us, John, we'd be happy to get that.
I'll definitely get that over to you, Lauri. Yeah, I'll get that over to you. And you can go ahead and send it out to folks.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions for John? All right, sounds good. Thank you for the update, John.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Next, we're going to pass it off to Clay, and Clay's going to give us an update today on a review of some of the revisions on the ONDCP non-fatal opioid overdose dashboard.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lauri. Yeah, I have three things I'd like to update folks on. First, perhaps kind of just a quick update on our discussion on the call 2 weeks ago in regards to what we want to do with the new 2021 trauma triage criteria that mostly came out this year, and implementing those into the NHTSA standard EN003, EN004s. We had a great lively discussion during the last call. Thank you for everyone who participated in that. We are actively looking here at the NHTSA TAC into what would be required to actually implement a critical patch in the spring of 2023. Josh is actively working on the mapping between the current EN003, EN004, the past trauma triage criteria to the new 2021 guidelines. So we're continuing to do that work, and we will keep you right abreast of progress we've made there. So right now we're actually working on ensuring that the mapping is correct, and we'll pass it on to this group as well for them to review. So we're looking forward to that happening. Also wanted to give folks an update on where we are with the request that went out to states. And so this is mostly for the state data managers and others that are on the call related to the Office of EMS sending out the letter that was penned by the director, the drug czar of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, ONDCP. We held 2 meetings on 2 Thursdays after the release of that letter in August, asking for comments back from states as to whether or not the request would be something states would be willing to consider. All those comments were taken back to the office here and also ONDCP. They've been very actively wanting to participate in helping states see the value of using NHTSA's data to look at non-fatal opioid overdoses. And they've had lots of comments about, ensuring that what they are looking at is in regards to NHTSA's data would also be shareable within the states for those that are actively working on this epidemic, so that the data is the same, right? So if we can identify, quote, hotspots using EMS data, that the states would know about that, as well as the federal partners that are trying to support the state efforts through funding and through legislation. So That work has been continuing, and I'm just kind of giving an update here. I know several states have reached out and say, hey, where are we on this process? We have put together a wireframe that we're just now dynamically working through ONDCP to kind of look at. It really reduces the granularity of the data. And so I think states will be much more open to the idea of sharing this joint kind of platform. The granularity, we've removed the zip code request. ONDCP has really removed a lot of the specificity that states were having a little bit of issue with. They're seeing the incredible value of the data, but they want to make sure that everybody can utilize the data in the same way. So we're hopeful that next week or the week after that, we'll be able to share a wireframe. Well, next week, on the DMC call, we'll be able to share the wireframe with the DMC. So if you are a state EMS data manager, I'd love to have you on that call so that we can review that wireframe. And then it's also going to the state EMS directors and chiefs. We're hoping the week after that. So we'll keep you up to date on that. That's the second item. The third item wanted to mention, and Josh, maybe you can help me on the next V3 implementation call on October 26th. We're going to be taking a fair amount of that meeting to talk about, give a virtual session associated with path to production, so the interoperability of NHTSA data. And Josh, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what are the topics that we're going to be covering in that session?
Sure. Yeah, as Clay said, this will be a good chunk of the V3 implementation call 2 weeks from now, talking about the interoperability topics. We're going to do a little bit of a recap of things that have happened over the past few months, looking to have a handful of vendors who have been participating in various ways in this project to kind of share what they've been doing and what their experiences have been like. We'll talk a little bit about some kind of our key insights, I guess, from the Connect-a-thon that happened in September, opportunities for people to still get involved at this point. And then we're looking to have a little bit of a discussion on prioritizing issues that we need to work on related to interoperability. So we have kind of a list of issues. We want to take that list and decide, where we're going to start. So we're going to look for your input and have a bit of a discussion about that. And just so you know, one of the things maybe you can all be thinking about in the next couple of weeks, one of the things we're, I think, struggling with is that, the NHTSA TAC is a technical assistance center. And yet interoperability has many areas that need to be worked on, some of which are technical, like which standards are used and which data elements are being parsed and shared, and how do you make the connections and stuff like that. And then there are a bunch of issues that are not technical. They're about how organizations get agreements in place with each other, or what the financial models might look like for participation in these interoperability networks, and the government perspective, laws that govern this work. All that non-technical stuff needs to be dealt with, but we need to kind of decide where's the boundary of the scope that the NHTSA Technical Assistance Center can effectively handle, and what are things that maybe need to be passed off to other groups to handle. So we would look forward to some thoughts and discussion from you in a couple of weeks from now when we run through that topic. Thanks, Clay.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Well said. Well said. Thank you for that description. So yeah, just in sum, on the state side, right? You folks that are working to ensure that NHTSA data can be incorporated into HIEs, and of course on the vendor side, who's looking for interoperability opportunities with hospitals and getting data back. Any pain points that you're experiencing, this will be the time to make sure that they're on the list and prioritized. And as Josh said, even if there's items that really don't directly fall under the Technical Assistance Center we'll be able to direct that information to other sources. And Amit at IHE has been very helpful in helping us identify other partners that may help us with billing questions or kind of what are political or legislative or administrative questions. So yeah, thank you very much. So those are my 3 topics, Lauri. I think I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Clay.
Thank you.
Yeah, next up, we have any items from the Office of EMS from Eric Chaney. I know Eric was on the road. He was unsure if he was going to be able to join us today. Are you here, Eric? Okay, maybe not. We will move on then to open forum. Are there any topics that anyone would like to bring up or circle back to that we've already talked about today? Any comments or additional topics?
This is Karen Jacobson.
Hi, Karen.
I would like to give a shout out to Colorado and Image Trend and the NHTSA TAC for Colorado's going green yesterday. Great work by Colorado. I know they had a state rule that they needed to meet to get that going. They met that. And then I also want to give a shout out to Kansas, who I understand from you folks will go green today, and South Dakota on Thursday tomorrow. Well done, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Yeah, well done to everyone. The rollout has been receiving of data, at least on our side, has gone relatively smoothly. So thank you, Karen and others, Image Trend, all the vendors that did such a great job of implementing a version 3.5. Yeah, thanks, Karen.
Any other announcements or comments? All right, if not, I will just give a reminder, as Clay and Josh already mentioned, our next meeting is 2 weeks from today, October 26th. So we hope you can join us then. And we thank you for joining and participating and engaging today. We know you all are busy and we appreciate you taking time out of your schedules to join us today. And I think that is it. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.